Hey everybody, my name's Adam Brous,
I'm Scott Maupin.
and this is Solutions from the Multiverse, where we bring you a new solution every week to your happy earballs.
So thanks for joining us, and come by each Tuesday morning. We'll have a new episode ready for you. Here we go.
Well, hey. Funny seeing you here in the Multiverse Transportation Network Transit Hub.
It's where I hang out. It's cheaper than
It's
Starbucks.
The hang. It's the hang.
Cheaper than any other hang for the Wi-Fi. I just come for the Wi-Fi.
They have very fast Wi-Fi here.
Oh yeah, at the hub. Oh, fast.
Amazing!
It's great.
That's right. I've been reading the news. I don't think this is a whole solution episode, but I've been reading the news about this geothermal fusion laser thing. Have you heard about this?
Geothermal fusion laser.
So they took the lasers that they used to heat up hydrogen to do fusion.
Sure.
And this guy at MIT was like shooting it at random shit for fun. He was like, hey, I wonder what it'll do.
Sounds good.
And he figured out that it burns through rock faster than a drill does, like faster than like a drilling rig.
Okay.
And so they're using it now to try to drill through the Earth's crust down to the magma.
Oh.
And if you can do that, then you can make geothermal power plants anywhere in the world.
Right.
And geothermal power plants are just free energy.
All you have to do is shoot a laser down to the center of the Earth?
That's it.
Oh. Well, that doesn't seem that bad.
No, not the center. It just has to go through like 10 to 20 kilometers of rock.
It just has to breach volcano level. So you have to create a hole
You have to,
down to where the lava is, which famously is what makes volcanoes happen.
So you think this may cause like volcanoes?
It sounds like you're creating volcanoes, right?
But it's not really down to magma. It's down to what are called superheated rocks.
What are those?
Those are like between the magma, like the liquid magma, and like the cool crust. There's like, the magma heats up the bottom of the crust a lot.
Are they solid?
They're solid, but they're like 600 degrees.
Okay.
And then you can just dump water down the hole. And then the water boils immediately. Because it's 600 degrees.
Sure.
Right. Or hotter, 800 degrees, 1,000 degrees.
And
then the steam comes up, and you catch the steam, runs a turbine, makes
it.
Electricity.
Always just makes
it's
steam. It's always boil water and turn a fan. That's all this is.
That's it.
You're using freaking lasers. You're using lasers. Again, we have nuclear power. What do we do with it? We heat up water and we turn a fan with steam. We have lasers. What are we going to do with the lasers? Powerful enough to go to to cut through a planet. And we're like, cool, we're going to use it to heat up water and turn a fan.
Yeah.
It's so...
Okay, I have two. Do you want two sorts of energy that don't turn a fan with steam? I have two.
Yes.
One is...
A bicycle? Is it a bicycle?
Wave power.
Wave power.
So wave power, the thing bobs up and down, and as it bobs up and down, it turns a thing that makes electricity. So it's not a steam with a fan.
Right.
It's up and down.
Right.
And as it goes up, it turns one way.
It's
and
the
as
same
it goes the
thing.
other way, it turns the other way.
It's moving the fan with the particles of...
Okay, I've got one that is sci-fi.
Substance.
There is a fusion. There's a fusion energy company in the Bay here that has tons of money. They're called Helion.
Okay, I like it already. Nothing about steam.
Now Helion shoots two fusion reactions at each other.
That's what I'm talking about.
And when the fusion reactions hit, they compress, creating a ton of fusion, a lot of fusion. They were doing a little fusion out there on the edge. Then they could do a lot of fusion in the center. The energy they release as fusion becomes plasma. Plasma has a magnetic effect. They then harness that magnetic effect directly and create electricity. No fan, no steam.
Now, see, was that so hard? Was that so freaking hard?
Yeah.
All right.
And guess what color? Guess what color the fusion is? Guess what color the fusion is?
Bright pink.
Yes, it's bright pink.
It better be.
So it looks like total sci-fi.
Woo!
Woo!
Ectoplasm.
It's ectoplasmic.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm happy.
But I'd rather do geothermal because all that fusion stuff is very complicated. And
where are you getting all this water that you're pouring down? You're probably going to pour down bottled water,
There's
aren't you?
plenty of water.
You're going to get
Fuji
individually
water. Only Fuji water.
You're going to get individually bottled waters, and then you're going to throw those bottles. You're not even going to recycle them. You're probably going to throw them in a landfill, aren't you?
Throw them in a landfill. Yeah.
I think that's a terrible plan, Adam.
If you have free energy everywhere, that's good. That's good. So you could, and actually, the guys who are doing
Don't I already have free energy from my small modular nuclear reactors that Apple made for me?
That's expensive energy. That's expensive.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I had the cheap planet laser energy, which is no problem.
That's the thing. They still have to figure out a few engineering problems, though. I learned.
How long you think it's going to take before someone uses those and like bolts them onto the front of a car, and then like just starts driving around lasering things in half?
That would be a danger, wouldn't it?
It's one of the biggest, right?
Maybe the biggest danger to this.
Okay,
there aren't very many dangers to this.
Okay, Jurassic Park, you make a laser that's powerful enough to cut through the Earth, and you didn't stop to ask what happens if someone points it at not the Earth.
It can cut through the Earth at 60, like 10 centimeters an hour.
Okay, how fast does it cut through, say, like a goose? How fast would it cut
quickly.
through that?
Yeah, it'd be hot. It'd be very hot. Yeah, it's a hot laser. This is a hot laser.
Okay,
but I don't think it goes very far. Like you have to be right up against the rock to burn through it.
Oh yeah, lasers are notorious for limited length. They definitely don't continue.
So you think that maybe these guys are creating like a death heat ray, like literally what the bad guys have in
War of the
Worlds?
They
got the heat ray.
It. Yes.
You think that's what they're creating?
They've
already created. That's the thing. This already exists. All they've done is they've taken that technology and they just pointed at rock. That's it.
Yeah.
So this already all exists.
That Val Kilmer movie, Real Genius?
No, I've never seen it.
Is
there heat ray in that too?
Yeah, they make a big laser.
Shit.
Anyway, never mind.
But yeah, I'm very hope. This is what now has given me more hope than anything else that we might actually be able to like not completely destroy the entire Earth with climate change.
Okay.
Because this technology sounds like very credible. The other thing about it that's really cool is they can dig it anywhere. So where do they want to dig the holes?
Antarctica.
No, that makes no sense. Although there's a lot of water there.
It's the coldest place. Yeah. You get the hottest stuff, and then you
mix them together and makes electricity.
Yeah, man. Little tropical little Antarctica spot.
No, they want to take
they
want to take established coal power plants that are already coal power plants. They're already running coal, and then just drill down and right, because the fins are already spinning with steam, right? So there's already the water and everything's all there.
Spin it up.
So they could just, instead of burning coal, they could just start using the superheated rocks.
Right, and if you have like these super powerful lasers, you can take over a coal mine, no problem. You just like go in there, point the lasers.
Everybody put down.
Go! Everyone get down! Stop mining.
Coaling.
Right, stop mining, and everyone come back up and take a break.
It's not a mine; it's a power plant. But I know what you mean. Yeah,
I got you.
Stop putting coal into that furnace.
Yes,
and everybody start shooting this laser down. Oh, we could do it as a heist movie. We should do it as a heist movie.
We should do this solution for real in real life
in a
as
heist movie. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, that was just like a side solution.
Okay, I like your side solution.
We can talk about another one.
You got another side solution for me?
I got so many solutions. It's just crazy. I
feel
like they're always big, and then I want to do the big ones. I don't want to do the small ones. Maybe I should just do two other small ones. Just do two more small ones. What do you think?
Give us a smattering.
Okay, here's a little small one. We should build more cathedrals. We should have never stopped building cathedrals.
Okay. Hard disagree.
So solutions are the cathedrals are okay. Now, what is it? What's the problem that cathedrals solve?
There's not one. They create them.
They create problems. No, I think they solve problems. So here's what I think. I think a cathedral. So this is where I got this idea. I was walking in Muir Woods.
Okay.
Which is a beautiful forest.
Oh, they have like a forest one, right?
And they call it a cathedral, a forest cathedral, because when you're there, it feels like you're in a cathedral, but it's all trees, which made me think, wait a second. If people in one of the most beautiful places in the world say this feels like a cathedral, then that means cathedrals are some of the most beautiful places in the whole world. And you can't make Muir Forest. Like Muir Woods is 1,000 years old. You can't make it. But we could build a cathedral. Cathedrals can actually be built. So what you're saying is you can build more places that make you feel as good as you feel in Muir Woods. Let's do that. That would be more cathedrals. So
no,
let's build cathedrals.
Saying, I think you're reverse applying this logic. They're saying that what they're experiencing in the woods is like a religious-ish type experience.
Yeah.
That they're feeling just by the nature of where they're at.
Because the soaring trees
and then the
and the beautiful canopies and the light filtering
and the association with where
that's what cathedrals
what
do.
What is a well, no, that's not what
cathedrals have soaring walls.
Okay.
The light comes through, beautiful ceilings.
Okay.
I think we like cathedrals because they resemble grandiose, sublime places in nature.
No,
and so we should build more of them. They should be everywhere. We should be able to walk into cathedrals anytime.
Counterpoint, they're enormous monuments to excess and terrible eyesores. And they should be, and they should be not existing as much. The ones that are around, fine. Go look at them. Keep them maintained. We don't need to build more.
So if you lived like by Notre Dame in Paris, you would not like go in and just enjoy how beautiful it is. Well, they'll refurbish it, I'm sure.
I'd go look at it, but I wouldn't.
You'd go inside and you'd say, "This is goddamn beautiful. This is sublime."
Well, I'd say amazing. Like, wow, that's an impressive thing. But
so
I also
why don't we build more? Let's build more of them. Why do we stop?
I also went to Buckingham Palace and thought that was impressive. But I don't think we should build more palaces.
But palaces don't really give you. No one says Muir Woods feels like a palace. They say it feels like a cathedral.
Yeah, but they're just talking about the idea of having like a quiet religious experience. That is then associated with where would that happen? In a cathedral. But that's not saying that cathedrals all have that. I don't think there's a.
But let's build them then. Let's build them.
Build cathedrals or just
let's
build
more cathedrals.
Why not just
build people say
more nice wood. You're taking the wrong lesson. We should be planting more trees and building more large wooded areas. That's more useful.
Okay,
than bunch of
agree.
Buildings that are based on old designs from like 1,000
So
years
that's the
ago.
thing. They don't have to be old. We could make new cathedrals.
Well, I
but
know.
have
There's
the
a new one
same,
in
have
Oakland.
the same effect. There you go.
There's a new one in Oakland. It's like right around Lake Merritt. Have you been to that one?
No. It's a new one.
Do you know about this?
Okay. No, I don't think so.
It's like a giant, it's called Cathedral of the Light or something. It looks completely different. It's a giant glass structure with glass and concrete.
Whoa.
Have you seen this place?
Oh, I'm seeing the pictures now. Yeah.
It's on Lake Merritt.
It's highly rated.
Yeah.
It does look really beautiful.
Yeah.
The outside doesn't look beautiful. The inside looks beautiful.
They're both.
The outside looks like weird.
It is weird, but it's impressive.
Dang.
But yeah, it's beautiful because it's been built with tons of money. That's how you build beautiful structures.
Nothing wrong with that.
Where does the money come? Well, okay. Why don't we trace back? Where's that money come from?
People gave it to the church. I don't know.
Okay, we don't have to get down this because I will definitely get into my zone. But like, the money comes from people who give it. The people who give it based on, to me, false promises and like sort of stuff where it's like, you need to do this to help, and then the money is also retained through a system of we don't have to pay taxes, and we sort of skirt, so we have lots of this.
All granted, but let's just say, who else could you give?
How else would you use tons of money to help people other than building giant elaborate structures? What, giving it to unhoused problems?
I agree. Yeah, we should build housing too. I'm not saying this is not like saying like, oh, the pie is
I'm
one
just saying,
pie. And
the Adam who says we should help unhoused people.
This is not
different
me.
than the Adam
my personal
who says we
belief.
should be building 1 million cathedrals per square block.
So let me put it this way. This is interesting to me. People generally consider the age of cathedrals, right? The age of cathedrals, when all over Europe, people were building like tons of cathedrals. Like you go to the Cathedral of Seville, or the Notre Dame, or there's cathedrals all over. People generally consider that totally crazy Like now in modern times, people are like, that's totally crazy.
Yes.
Why would you spend like a huge part of your GDP just building these enormous structures that don't do anything, right? They don't like make money for corporations or house people or
why
do
would
anything,
someone do that? Because we're humans and we act based on cause and effect and motivation. So why?
Yeah. Well, I think because they were like the most amazing thing you could experience in your life then.
Well, that is
going into one was like amazing. The same way going to Muir Woods, which very few people in the world can do, is go to Muir Woods because it's only here in Northern California.
That is certainly an opinion. Yes.
So you think it's all about power and like manipulation of the people?
You're saying like 1,000 years ago, why do I think that the church had a iron grip on people?
And people wanted to build the cathedrals. They wanted to. They said, this is great. Let's build the cathedrals.
Right.
They loved it. Same thing with the pyramids. Did you know that the pyramids were not built with slave labor? That's false. I learned that recently.
I didn't.
They were not built with slave labor.
Connected.
People who were built the pyramids were workers who were paid.
Okay.
And they showed up to work because they were paid. They were paid mostly in beer. But they showed up, got paid in beer, and, hauled the rocks around and made the pyramids because they thought it was amazing. They thought it was great to have pyramids.
So the people who built it 1,000 years ago, built the cathedrals, were because the people who worked in the cathedrals said, you should probably do this or else you might go to hell forever. And doing this will help you not do that.
I don't know about
the
that.
rich people,
maybe,
the more rich. You don't think they were saying that?
I think everybody believed it. I don't think it's like some people convinced other people. Right. I think everybody was like, we should build these giant structures.
They said, well, if you're, say, a person who does some bad things, there is a way to get around that. You could like give us a lot of money and then you'll not be on the record for having done those bad things. And guess what? People who were rich also did bad things. And then they would give lots of money, and then the people who worked in the cathedrals would say, "Guess what? You're not on the record for those bad things anymore."
This is what's called a Marxist. This is Marxism, right? Religion is the opiate of the masses. It's a class power interpretation. But I'm just suggesting maybe there's also an aesthetic interpretation.
How could cathedrals have come about? To me, it is very plain, and I go, "Oh, it makes absolute perfect sense." And there's no wonderment.
But here's what under that. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying under that interpretation, let's say that is exactly what happened. There was powerful cabal of priests, and they were able to. Okay, then I don't think what you would expect is you would see cathedrals. What I think I would expect you would see would be extremely ornate, beautiful priest houses and palaces, like palaces for the priesthood. That's what you would see. But cathedrals, they're not palaces. They're not comfortable. They don't have feather beds. They're just big rock structures. They don't have like,
my friend,
you
luxurious.
Might be confused.
Have you ever been to?
Do you know how cold it is in a cathedral? It's not like a nice, luxurious place to live.
Have you been to Vatican City?
Okay, Vatican, yes, but not all.
Wait, have you been to Vatican City?
Yeah, I've been to Vatican City.
Okay, so you might be confused then, but I'm so sorry. Part of being a priest is you take a vow of poverty, my friend. So you can't personally own a bunch of stuff and have a bunch of lucrative things. Yeah. But but if you happen to work somewhere that is baller, like I'm talking gold inside it.
You don't own any of it, but you get to use it all, right? But here's the thing.
Poor.
Here's the thing.
Look, here's the thing.
Priest. You talk about the Vatican.
This is just my super powerful workplace with all of my
guess what?
Cathedrals,
which I'm not talking about Vatican City. I'm talking about cathedrals. The Cathedral of Seville, Notre Dame, etc. Okay. Those are not luxurious like places that priests got to like live and wrap themselves in, wonderful cloth and have big fires in the hearth and enjoy the big meals. That's not Gothic. What they were used.
Nobody was having a good time with Gothic architecture.
Okay, well, just admit though, there's something there, because if your explanation was definitely the whole picture, then you would only see like, palaces for the princes or for the priests. The priests would have had these palaces. The monasteries would have been golden, beautiful monasteries, but they don't have that. They don't have that.
They get fancy churches.
Okay, new solution.
Yes. Next.
How about, okay, have you heard of randomly picking representatives instead of voting for them?
Like jury duty?
So like, no, like for example,
That's what it
instead
sounds
of,
like
if
you're
you
saying.
said like, we're going to, okay, let's say for the city, we want city council members, right? What do we do now? We vote for them. So everybody runs an election and votes for them.
Right.
But what if we just picked from a hat?
But who's in the hat?
People who wanted to be in the hat, or people who were nominated to be in the hat. So you'd nominate. So people would get like maybe, depending on the size of the city, like San Francisco's like 750,000 people. Maybe if you're in a district, like you're in District 9, or you do citywide elections for 10 people, it's 700,000. Maybe you need to get 20,000 signatures. So if you can get 20,000 signatures, then you're in the hat, or maybe 5,000 signatures. You get 5,000 signatures, then you're in the hat, and then you can be picked at random to become city council member. This is an interesting thing. It fixes money in politics right off the bat. No money in politics because no one has to run elections. There are no elections. You just get your signatures, which is like doable. You just walk around, get signatures, and then it's just picked at random. So no one can be influenced with money.
This seems like it has tons of holes in it.
Okay, yeah.
It seems like it has
solves money in politics, though.
Does it though?
Sure.
But it misses it. You lose the ability to vote for like the person you want to represent.
You don't need to vote.
Well, yeah. If two people are wildly different, you would probably want to express your opinion that you want one or the other. What if president?
Right.
Would you just like it to be a random person for whoever?
Well, I don't. Maybe for president. Maybe for president it doesn't work. That's why I started with city council.
Well, I know, but I'm starting at the top. Would you want it to be that way?
I think maybe the way you would apply this to president is you would say the electoral Congress is picked at random, and then they decide who's president. That would be cool.
But what if they decide differently than the people want?
The people wouldn't vote. We wouldn't even ask the people. So I mean, if you were applying this,
we're eliminating voting.
Well, we're eliminating money in politics.
It sounds like you're eliminating the voting and you're making it, concentrating it to like a small number of people, which to me raises
who are chosen
a flag
at random
as like easier to corrupt. Corruptibility. When you concentrate power into fewer hands, then corruption becomes easier to do.
So what if the electoral Congress was like, I don't know how many people are in the electoral Congress now, but what if it was like 500 people?
But what's the benefit of having just random people selected for a job, like just pulled out of the hat?
Because right now, to be president, you have to be like a multimillionaire.
Okay.
Right. And to be even considered for any kind of position of power, you have to raise tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from wealthy people. Okay. And so wealthy people get their chance to bribe the people because we make them run elections. Whereas if you said we're going to pick, let's say the city council member example, we're just going to pick, you have to get 5,000 signatures. Anybody can get 5,000 signatures. A nurse, a part-time, a preschool teacher could get 5,000 signatures. No problem.
Okay.
Right. And then they could get their hat in the thing, or get their name in the hat. And then maybe they're picked. And now we have a preschool teacher is because they wanted to be and they're good, that people believed in them. They'd be
chaos
person.
It sounds like absolute chaos.
But it might be less bribery and fewer like entrenched interests.
But also less competency.
If everything gets kind of
like
controlled
the person doesn't presumably you rise and learn something as you do politics, and it's just
as you do elections or as you hold office. Because people often say there's two jobs of being a politician: running for office and actually holding it. Well, this would eliminate the need to run elections. You don't need to run an election. You just get your signatures, and then boom, you're there, and now you have a lot of experience.
Or you could just make it so that you can only run for election, like 5 weeks before the election. You can't do it 7 months ahead.
Oh, I see. So it concentrated, just like Japan does. You mentioned that before. So if you concentrated, you can't run. But even then, people would be doing all the planning and all the like horse, horse trading during the time before, and then they would all run elections after. It would still be the same, like, hey, come and talk to me. You're the guy. You're the guy. We're gonna talk.
It doesn't seem pulling someone at random and then stopping with the voting part of it. I feel like we need to maximize the voting part, not minimize it. It feels like we need more selection, not less. But I see what you're saying, where a random person would be less corruptible in the system, but like that person is going to be wildly unprepared for whatever the job. It's I don't know.
Maybe they need to get like 10,000 signatures.
It's not going to change.
Pretty hard. That's pretty hard.
Because then if I'm a radio show with millions of people, that's not a thing that exists anymore. But if I'm like, if I have a bunch of people,
you're a podcast.
Then as a lark, I have us all write in different people's names, and then we've got that person now as a 1 in whatever chance of holding office for like a serious thing. People would do it as a.
So it sounds like there's some.
It feels
you're kind of getting to you're kind of well. So you're talking about two sides. So I like this because you're saying on the one side, they might not actually be capable of doing the job. On the other side, people might be able to sort of monkey with the system and cause negative outcomes or like unintended outcomes. I think. So let's just imagine we can solve the second part, because that's, you just structure it so that can't happen, right? Oh, but sure. the first part though, I think you just make rules about, what signatures count and da 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 da. I think you could probably get rid of that. But the other part I think is interesting you raised. So they just aren't qualified. So what if you get chosen this way, you then have to go to a 6-month or even a year-long schooling where you're paid the whole time and you have to attend school, get trained for a year how to hold office.
Yes.
And then you start a year after you were picked. That's kind of interesting. Or 6 months boot camp.
So
6-month boot camp.
Let me just make sure I have this laid out, the steps. So you are drafted by the state and then sent to a re-education camp. This is what you're talking about? Yeah. And then once you have been properly instructed, then you are allowed to come back and exercise power in the way that you have been taught.
That's right.
I see. This sounds
What's wrong with that part?
And there are no longer any pesky voters. So I see what you are talking about. It sounds like pure freedom.
Well, I don't understand. Why isn't it?
Is this episode going to be on July 4th? Are we doing a July 4th episode right now?
So if you had a 6-month training, a boot camp that taught you like what your ethics requirements are and how to do bills and how to vote for things and and the history of the city.
But the complaint is going to be that you're being instructed by the state. You're being re-educated
by the state. Oh, I guess because the state provide. But I mean, it's just all public information: how to pass a bill, what the city what the history of the city is,
right?
What the different roles are, the different ministers.
That's all reference data. You could just look up that stuff.
Yeah, but you were saying they wouldn't be qualified to hold office. So, okay, give them a boot camp. Give them a boot camp where you run them through the kind of standard boom, 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 processes that they're going to have to know. And then, maybe it's only 3 weeks or 10 weeks. Maybe it's a short boot camp.
Yeah. Do you like
it's a civics lesson? It's basically just civics.
Oh yeah, totally. I've never had public speaking before in my life, so 6 months should be able to make.
But you don't have to do public speaking that much.
No, of course not. Not a leader like a head of state. They would never.
Well, maybe they get a little bit of public speaking training, but I mean, they can just release press releases. It's not that hard. It's not hard. But here, you might want to explain how to do that.
We have our it sounds like the day at school where they have the student be the principal for the day, and they're like, this is principal so and so, but it's not, like they're just they get to that, they won that as part of their pizza priority prize,
right? So this is what's called sortition.
What is
what we're describing? It's a known thing. It's called sortition.
Who knows about it?
It's a Wikipedia article and everything. It's a
sortition.
Yeah, this is when you pick public officials or jurors using random representative sampling.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been used in multiple times in history. At ancient Athens, Lombardy, and Venice in the 12th and 18th century, Florence in the 14th and 15th century, in the Enlightenment in Switzerland.
Current current day
modern application. People have used it in jury selection.
Okay, that sounds right.
As well as
that's what I said. Jury. It sounds like you're doing...
it's like jury selection. It's also been used in military conscription as one method of awarding U.S. green cards.
I think this is how Mr. Beast decides who to give
drafting
money to.
Randomness. Military drafts, random, right? University classes and residences, randomly placed.
Yeah.
Within organizations, sortition has been potentially helpful in large organizations to govern themselves democratically without the use of elections. So say you have like a co-op with 200 employees and you don't want to host elections, which might create sort of divisions, partisan divisions. You just say anyone who can get, 20 signatures or 30 signatures gets put in a hat, and then someone gets picked. And now there's no elections that could become like, we're the blue party, we're the red party, and tear the company apart.
Yeah, absolutely no problems could arise from this. So completely unrelated. Just imagine that I came over to your house, right? And so I'm going to make dinner, and I put all the things you have, I list them on little slips of paper, and I put them in a hat. And then I pull out of that hat, everything you have in your kitchen space is edible, right? Like all your food, it's edible. Right. So then I just pull out a few things and I start making them together. So, we have some random, peanut butter and salmon and probably like walnuts and maybe some peas and pineapples mixed together and blueberry sauce on top of.
So what? It's representative.
Mustard.
You want a representative democracy. You want there to be
I'm
diversity
saying
of opinions.
That sounds like a good meal to you because I just randomly got it out of the sorting hat of the available options.
I'm just going to ignore that. So it also has a few other names. Lotocracy, as in lotto, like lottery-tocracy, lotocracy. It also is called a demarchy. Like the rule, like democracy, but demarchy. Archy just means
anarchy.
The rule. Well, archy means the rule of. So demarchy would be the rule of the demos, which is like democracy. It's basically an analog to democracy.
Same thing.
Some people who are these theoreticians of this say that people should not be volunteers. Anyone who volunteers should not be allowed to do it because we don't want people who want power to be in positions of power. We want people who kind of don't want to be it. Should be the ones who actually are forced to do it. Which
that
I
is
think
cool
is
when it works
silly.
out, but it's not cool when you get someone who's completely unsuited for it. Like I go, I don't want to be a firefighter, and you go, then you're the perfect firefighter. I go, no.
No.
I don't want to be a firefighter. I'm the wrong guy.
Right. Anyways, I like sortition. I think we should use it. I don't think we should use it for everything, but I think we should use it more. I think people should be like, how should we govern this thing? And we should be like, sortition. That's a good fit. Let's do it. Like people should be more open to that, especially maybe in the case of companies. That's a good one.
It's like omakase, but it's for elected office.
Isn't omakase rigidly prescribed?
Well, it's just letting the chef. It's letting the chef. Do
the
whatever
chef
they
gets
want.
to just do whatever. Yeah. Well, that's not really what sortition is at all. But
the sorting hat is the chef in my. Don't poke my analogy.
It would be a random. We're talking about a random number generator is in charge now. The random number generator. The sorting hat is like a will. We don't want
wise
that.
AI lords.
No, not AI. That would also be a will. We want random numbers, literally randomness. Like you would just roll a dice. There's true randomness algorithms you could use. There isn't provable randomness. I'm a computer science professor, so I know this. There's no such thing as provable randomness. You can never prove that something's entirely random. But there is...
Not me, though. Not me. I do
other,
like super random stuff sometimes.
You do. So you could
my gosh. Sometimes, Adam, I'm so random.
You are so random.
Oh my
God. You're so random sometimes.
Adam, you would not believe how random I am sometimes. Okay. I am just like, I just come out.
Tell me the most random thing.
I just do something that's so random. I couldn't even think about it right now.
Right now, this is what you're saying is pretty random. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think so.
Yeah.
That's so random.
Okay, we did 3 mini solutions today.
It's good.
We did.
It's good. And everyone's good except the cathedral one. What?
Oh, yeah. We did fusion laser drilling.
Yes.
We did build
Laser
more
of the
cathedrals because they're great and there should be more of them. And it's a great way to make more jobs for people. Right?
Oh, it's a great way to make more jobs.
Yeah, great jobs. And beautification of cities. Also, tourism. People love to visit the city, go to the cathedral. That's what everyone does in Europe. They go to the city, visit the cathedral.
That's what everyone does.
So we could do that here. And then we did sortition, randomly picking representatives to govern groups of people, whether small or maybe larger. Maybe a small city could do it, or a big city could even try a little sortition. Maybe school board could be done by sortition, which might be nice, might be easier.
Why don't we do it on like a battleship? Maybe somebody
a battleship sortition.
Maybe somebody else gets to be the general today, you know? Who's the captain now? I'm the captain now. Oh, the movie.
So you're good
I'm the captain now.
You're good at figuring out times when sortition would not work. But
what?
There are many times when it would work very well.
I am definitely not intentionally doing that, Adam.
You are. You are.
I just wanted to do my Captain Phillips.
Thanks, everybody, for coming to Solutions from the Multiverse.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll be presenting
are the captain now.
More solutions or solution. Maybe we'll go back to just one at a time next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. See you next time.
Week.
Bye.
Hey there, thanks for listening to that episode of Solutions from the Multiverse.
Yeah, we're back with a little after roll. Hello.
Hey, after roll. Roll that after roll. So basically, we want you to subscribe.
Yeah.
And rate and review. And tell someone, like, take your favorite solution and send it to someone who you think it would like blow their mind to hear it.
Yeah, we love making the show. We're proud of it. And we're excited. We want other people to show. We know that the main way people find podcasts is word of mouth. I know that's true for me. I listen to my friends who also listen to podcasts tell me about ones, and I go, okay, I'm cluing into that. So we want to be part of that chain.
So thanks for being a part of Solutions.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon.
Bye.
Bye.